So let's talk about triggers for a moment. Obviously, we all experience triggers, even people that don't even have to deal with addiction or in recovery. But for people who have dealt with addiction or in recovery, they seem to be amplified. Even people who have dealt with trauma, things of that nature, triggers can tend to set us off, right? So there's a way that I've looked at triggers that has really, really helped me and helped many of the clients that I have worked with. Now, let's break it down just a little bit. Okay. So, first and foremost, trigger. What's the only thing that has a trigger on it? That'd be a gun. So, let's walk through this now. Okay. Let's see you get triggered. You're in a situation and you run into an old friend. You are in a place and it brings back memories of something that happened there. You get a text from somebody, something pops up, an unexpected problem in life. Okay. Fill in the blank of how it looks in your world. But when we get triggered and immediately get angry, want to respond, want to run, whatever it is. Okay. When we can better understand what's going on underneath the hood and how to take a step back and apply tools, we can learn to how to be in charge of our emotions rather than our emotions being in charge of us. Okay. Now let's say someone's standing right next to you and a gun goes off. Boom. You don't know it's going to go off and bang. What happens? Immediately, you're going to be disoriented. Immediately, you're going to be all shaken up. There's going to be a smell. You're going to be your thoughts are going to be all jumbled up, right? But what's the biggest thing that takes place when the trigger goes off? It's trying to get you to go in a different direction fast, immediately, this way. Immediately respond in anger, immediately run, immediately say something we take back, immediately make a decision that turns a bad moment into a bad day, or a bad day into a bad week, or a bad week into a bad month. Or I've seen people make a decision, one bad decision that turns into a bad lifetime. Okay. So we get triggered. Okay. What's the first thing that we want to do when we get triggered? Well, let's start here and understand what's actually going on in our physical body when we get triggered. Okay. Let me read this here really quick. This is from Jill Bolton Taylor, Harvard brain scientist. Okay. When a person has a reaction to something in their environment, in their environment, there's a 90-second chemical process that happens in the body. After that, any remaining emotional response is just the person choosing to stay in that emotional loop. Our emotional triggers or red flags activate chemical changes within our body, which puts us on full alert. The flight, fight, or freeze response. For these chemicals to be totally flushed out of our body takes less than 90 seconds. For the first 90 seconds, there is something going on underneath the hood that puts us a little more on edge. Okay. After 90 seconds, it's all mental. It's 100% mental. And we can choose to stay in that emotional loop. We can choose to stay in that thinking process. We can choose to allow our emotions to continue to control us, or we can choose to approach it differently, see it differently, and practice and get out of that loop and be in charge of our emotions rather than them being in charge of us. So here's the very first things that I do and I teach all of my clients. Okay. Understanding that's helpful because we understand for the first 90 seconds, our body's reacting. After that, it's the response that we have mentally and how we partner our actions with it. So first and foremost, I tell people, do your best to take a step back. See the bigger picture of what's going on and play the tape all the way through. Playing the tape all the way through. It's a term that comes from the 1900s, cassette tapes, but you hit play. If I hit play on this decision, where's it taking me? Okay. And what's the trigger trying to do? It's trying to take you in a different direction fast without you even being able to process it. Boom, the trigger went off, bullet went in that direction. It's trying to take me fast into almost always a bad decision. Okay. So first we understand there's 90 seconds. We take a step back. We try and see the big picture. Okay. Here's the first thing, practical action step, apart from some of the mindsets, right? Pray. Now, it might seem very, very simple, but think about it now. There's a spiritual force. Let's just call it light and darkness. Jesus, the devil, God, the enemy, addiction, freedom. You call it what you want. Let's just call it light and darkness right now. Okay. Darkness is trying to plant a seed, trying to grab a hold of you and get you to go in a direction you don't want to go fast, get you trying to pull you back into addiction, trying to pull you into anger, trying to pull you into a resentment. Okay. So when I say pray, it's not, oh God, help me. We pray strategically and specifically. We pray like this. God, I'm asking for grace in this situation right now so that what the enemy is trying to do and pull me in a direction I don't want to go, you can fuel me with your grace to make the right decision and exercise self-control right now. I just speak to this darkness to leave. God, let your clarity fill my mind. So I pray strategically. The enemy is coming at you. If we look at this even like a military, okay? The enemy is trying to attack to weaken you, weaken your defenses, and take you somewhere else. If we exercise the weapons that we have, which is going to be prayer, and we pray in the same way, a strategic approach to fight back, to put a stop to this attack, we pray strategically like that, okay? Sometimes we're just triggered. We're in traffic. We're having a bad day. It's a simple thing. We pray. It's really not that big of a deal. We get past it. Other times it is something that's a big deal, okay? So immediately we pray. The next step, if it is something serious, is immediately call someone. This is why I have 1, 2, 3, 4, have at least 3 or 4 people that you can call at any time that know your story, know where you're at, can help keep you accountable and keep you encouraged. Because chances are the first person maybe can't answer, second person can't answer. Don't take it personal, okay? They're in the middle of their day. But have a few people that you can call and you can talk to, okay? And you call immediately, say, hey, this just happened. I'm praying. I just need to bounce I need you to pray for me. I want to just get this out in the open, process it, take the sting out of it, okay? What happens when we begin to exercise these tools a few times? I tell people we're practicing using these new tools. We're practicing living a different way. What takes place after the first time and we kind of fumble through it and we pray and use the tools, but we don't though go in the other direction fast, okay? Success. Did you do it all perfect? Does it matter? The trigger didn't take you somewhere you don't want to go. The next time you're praying, exercising the tools becomes a little easier. The next time it's a little more simple, a little more easier. Now you're implementing these tools, and before you know it, these triggers hit you and you're not falling for the bait. You're not getting sucked into the trap. Okay. So let's take a quick recap here. What's happening when a trigger goes off? Okay. There's an emotional response, a memory attached to it. We get angry. It bothered us. Okay. The trigger's trying to take us somewhere we don't want to go fast. Okay. For 90 seconds, there's chemicals pumping through your body, a stress response. Okay. After 90 seconds, it's all mental. It's all an emotional loop. Okay. What's the first thing we want to do? Do what we can to take a step back and play the tape all the way through. If I say yes to this decision, where is it taking me? Okay. Immediately we pray strategically, like we are firing back at the enemy as he fired at us. Okay. And then if it's a big trigger that's really setting us off, we call someone, process it, get reinforcements, so to speak. Okay. Listen, we've all been triggered. Maybe even safe to say it's a normal part of life to just get, something comes at us unexpected. We get riled up, but you don't have to be captive to it anymore. I just encourage you to begin practicing these and watch as it plays out in your life and you step into more freedom.